Pac-Man. A game that honestly needs no introduction, since it's regarded as one of the most recognized, influential, and greatest video games of all time. It was released in 1980, had many sequels, was remade or reimagined over and over, and is one of the longest running video game franchises in history. I'm part of a challenge named the 20 Game Challenge, in which you recreate 20 existing games. In this video, I'll show you how I remade Pac-Man in Godot. As always, I start by setting up the project. But after that, I collected all the sprites for the game into a main sprite sheet and imported it. I made a basic grid, added the basic Pac-Man character to it, and started to work on moving Pac-Man through the grid. For something so basic, it was quite complex, including custom components like the Grid 2D and Grid Traveler that would work together to determine if a tile could be walked on or not. I added a game manager for handling modes like playing, so that I could control how Pac-Man behaved, for example, at the start of the game. I changed the background color to black and added pack dots and power pellets to the level. To collect them, I reused the collectible 2D and collector 2D components I made in earlier games of this series, but I didn't bother about the power pellets doing anything fancy yet. I did, however, set up the UI for the points you got while collecting dots and power pellets, and I even added tunnels to the game. And if that wasn't enough for this first step, I also added in lives and made a dev tool to easily test adding and removing points and lives. And it seems everything works. Whew, that was a lot. Now onto the really complex stuff, the ghosts and AI. If you're interested in the details, please read the Pac-Man dossier article by Jamie Pittman. I used it as a reference to not only recreate the behavior of the ghosts, but also the rules for the rest of the game. What I do think is valuable to show is how it was implemented. If we run the game and inspect some of the ghosts here, you'll see that all ghosts have the same base script. We got properties exposed like house-related stuff, a reference to Pac-Man, tile target when scattering, the spawn point, a timer, if it has been eaten or not, the mode, and the current tile target. They also extend the Grid Traveler, just as Pac-Man, to walk around. When I start a game, the ghost mode and current tile target changes, and they will move according to their specific instructions. During chase mode, Blinky will, for example, target Pac-Man directly, while Clyde will do the same but start to scatter if Pac-Man gets too close. The Ghost Manager is mostly responsible to keep track of and change the mode of the ghosts from scatter to chase, depending on the level and duration. With all of these things working together, it replicates quite nicely how the ghost in the original Pac-Man was behaving. Time for the power pellets to get some actual power. The frighten mode that was missing for the ghost were now added, so when Pac-Man would collect a power pellet, all ghosts would run around in panic. When eaten, the ghost turns into ice and return back home to respawn again. Small things like receiving points for eating ghosts, cleanups and fixes, and making the speed ramp up were some of the things that I added at this point. Both Ghosts and Pac-Man would increase their speed depending on multiple factors. The level, going through tunnels, and collecting power pellets. And there's actually plenty more mechanics and rules I could talk about that I implemented, but as I said before, if you're interested in the details, I would highly recommend reading the article by Jamie Pittman. A lot of the pieces is now in place, but the game still didn't have any way of winning or losing. But this was quite simple to add at this point, so I started by making Pac-Man eatable and set the game mode to game over if all lives were out. And then I made you level up when all pack dots and power pellets were collected. And that's it. You win some, you lose some. And for the final touches, it meant I mostly added audio to the game. And trust me, it was quite a lot. There are some audio for the different ghost modes, eating dots, eating ghosts, ghost returning back home, the intro jingle, the death jingle, and so many more. A start button was added, and then it was time to create and add an icon and a splash screen. Pac-Man, done. Or was it? Rebranding this game to avoid copyright claims was a bit of a hassle. I had to replace all assets with my own, which meant I also had to come up with some sort of plot to make the art fit together with the gameplay. So I decided that Pac-Man now was a pickpocket named Pickpock and was chased around the maze by police officers. And instead of collecting Pac dots and power pellets, it was money and super money. I know, creative. All audio had to be custom made and switched out, so I used JSFXR as I have done previously to create them and starting replacing them. I even moved around the layout of the maze a bit, and lastly I changed the icon, splash screen, and the name of the game. And now, finally, I was done. The game is playable on itch, and the source code can be found on GitHub. Both links are in the description below. Next time I'll be recreating Conway's Game of Life, which technically is more of a simulation rather than a game, but I hope to still see you there. Bye!